Government approves 3% pay increase for public servants. Focus on family for positive change. And former Guns Committee chairman critical.
This is National MTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thanks for joining me for Friday's news. The government has approved a 3% pay increase for public servants for the next 3 years. The announcement was made jointly this afternoon by John Carley, Secretary for the Department of Personnel Management, and Emma Faitelli, President of the Public Employees Association. This new pay fixation agreement recognizes the financial difficulties experienced by the government and is lower than the 6% increase enjoyed in the previous years. The DPM Secretary and the PEA President said the new pay fixation agreement replaces the current 3-year agreement, which expires on the 31st of December 2016. Mr. Kali said the government appreciated the understanding of the association in moderating their claims and in accepting an increase which was lower than that of previous years.
So we have asked the President of the PEA and other union leaders to support the government during this difficult time, to make some sacrifices. So I want to thank the public servants as well for your patience throughout the country, and that over the next 18 months and around July of 2018, we will review.
Ms. Faitelli said the PEA appreciates the financial difficulties being experienced in the country and the need for the government to focus its funds on its core policies of free education, free health, and improving law and order, which also benefits their members.
Every time we negotiate salary fixation, it was 6%. But now with a downturn in the government's economy, and we need to understand that. So based on that, we have agreed on the salary fixation with the 3% increase, and we are happy for that. I'd also like to mention here that our remuneration that we have increases every 3 years is related to performance. And I also want to urge our leaders in the public service to be able to understand this MOA and have it applied fairly.
She said the PEA looked forward to the mid-term review of the agreement with anticipation that the government's finances will improve. The parties, including the PEA Executive Committee, also agreed that insurance cover for public servants will be resolved through an MOU for individual cover. Deli Waigeno, National MTV News. The important focus on family or the domestic sphere needs positive and transformational changes. The national strategy to prevent and respond to gender-based violence was endorsed yesterday by the government.
The National Executive Council, NEC, yesterday endorsed the National Strategy to Prevent and Respond to Gender-Based Violence 2016 to 2025. This was to strengthen and establish the work of gender-based violence to achieve zero tolerance of gender-based violence in the country.
It's very important for our country, because this is a really way forward for our country to address issues that has been affecting our families and our society.
The strategy is a long-term commitment for the government and the first of its kind in PNG. Gender-based violence has 4 key objectives, which includes standardized data collection, quality and continuity coordinated approach, long-term supports and advocacy. Minister Gores says this is the start and not the end of the strategy.
But the policy is the start. It's not the end of a process, and we all know that. And part of what we were just talking about, just as we came into the room, was now, having got the policy ready, how do we make this count and make it a difference in people's lives? How do we implement this?
A demonstration that was staged today as part of the petition to the government for endorsing the strategy. Hundreds gathered outside City Hall to make their stand on gender-based violence. The strategies will build on existing interventions at national and sub-national levels to secure government ownership at the highest level. This will be coordinated and monitored for quality feedback. Sawato Hahambu, National EMTV News.
Police Commissioner Gary Baki has tasked divisional heads within the police ranks to be strict on ill-disciplined police officers. At a police parade in Kokopo, Assistant Police Commissioner for NGI Region Anton Billy reiterated the Commissioner's warning that rogue officers will be strictly dealt with. This follows public concerns raised over ill-disciplined police officers who have tainted the image of the police force in recent years. Edwin Fidelis reports from Kokopo.
Public confidence in the PNG Royal Constabulary has dipped in recent years in the country, prompted by the actions of ill-disciplined officers. These pictures of police brutality are some of many instances that have raised public concerns about the ill behaviors of some police personnel. Until recently, the concern has reached the top police hierarchies for some actions to be taken. At the end of the year police parade in Kokopo today, the New Guinea Islands police boss, Anton Billy, told these men and women to reconsider their practices to the general public, as the consequences of their unruly behaviors will be severe.
So if you cannot do your job, we'll make you to do your job. If you cannot discipline your men with MDORs, then you will take your member's place by being disciplined. I must warn you now.
Discipline of police officers was one agenda discussed during the recent Commissioners' Conference in Kimbe last week. The Police Commissioner, Gary Baki, who attended the conference, has yet again expressed disappointment over the actions of his men and women, which for the most part are considered unconstitutional. Today, the second-in-command to the Commissioner issued a stern warning to his East Newberton police officers that 2017 must be a change year for them.
I must warn you now that you must, from now on, after this parade, you have to do some change, make some change.
The basic knowledge is that police officers who passed out of Bomana every year should provide safety for the public and not to hurt them. While the message is clear time and again, the Assistant Commissioner of Police says officers who continue to act indiscriminately will be forced to leave the force. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
The Prime Minister has confirmed the nationwide firearms moratorium that will begin tomorrow and end on February 28 next year. Prime Minister O'Neill said in a statement that this is part of a national gun control strategy where people with unlicensed firearms are encouraged to surrender them to local police to ensure safe and secure elections next year. While agreeing that unlicensed firearms are a national security threat, former Guns Control Committee Chairman Jerry Singarok feels for the purpose of ensuring safe and secure elections next year, it is too late.
In a phone interview with EMTV today, the former chairman, who is now the National Security Advisor for Pangu Party, says this is a knee-jerk reaction. Singarok reiterated what he said in an interview with MTV's Talk Picture program earlier this year. In 2005, the Guns Control Committee tabled a report to the government following an 8-month countrywide consultation which ended with a National Guns Summit in Goroka. A comprehensive report outlined a strategy which needed government and parliamentary support to end law and order issues in the country with a large focus on guns control.
The problem is that the issue is that there is proliferation of guns of all sorts, from semi-automatic to single shot to very, very sophisticated guns and accessories to homemade guns from all parts of the country. Every day as we speak, it's being used.
Singarok says he has been deeply concerned with the lack of attention the report has received over the years by successive governments.
Well, the guns control has a series of recommendations. One of it is to establish a gun violence committee. Of it will set out a series of action. But of course, This will not be possible unless the government passes it on the floor of Parliament, because it impacts many legislations, many jurisdictions, for example, the Firearms Act, the Defence Force Act, the Police Act, the PNG Customs Act.
He said it would take 4 to 5 years to fully implement these changes. Under firearms collection, the 2005 report detailed 17 recommendations which encouraged working closely with communities and ensuring voluntary surrender of firearms. Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, Hela Governor Francis Potape has pledged his support to the state-ordered call-out for Hela Province. The governor said with the moratorium set by the national government, the people of Hela must work together to ensure the province is ready for a free and safe election come 2017.
The Hela governor this afternoon announced his support for the 11 million kina special call-out operation into Hela. The governor said it is a high-profile security issue and it needs attention to ensure law and order is restored in the province.
This is a high-profile security arrangement for the province, and I want to thank the government, especially the Prime Minister and all the ministers, and I also want to thank the Police Commissioner, who I've had a discussion with him earlier on in the week, and the Chief Secretary and the government and agencies for coming up with this decision. It will cost the state 11 million kina, but it is a worthy cause.
With the Prime Minister announcing a moratorium from the 17th of December to the 28th of February next year, the governor welcomed this and has called on the people of Hela to come forward and surrender all firearms.
You are given a window of opportunity, 2 months and 2 weeks to surrender your weapons, and I welcome the decision by the government, especially the police minister and the police the commissioner. They made the right approach, and the approach that they're taking, especially the National Security Advisory Group and the Council. Those are the right decisions you are making, and on behalf of the province and the people, I am welcoming those decisions.
He said the recent tribal fights is indication of the drop in law and order in the province. However, he said peace processes have already begun.
We have already been working on the peace process. Peace signing ceremonies have been initiated. Provincial government has already spent 1 million kina in terms of allowances and vehicles and so forth for peace process to be signed. For the recent issue or the fight in Tari, around the Tari town area, the peace process has already happened. Leaders have agreed to for peace to return.
He also urged the people of Hela province to work together this festive period to ensure the province is ready for the 2017 general elections.
Now is the time for us not to fall further, because there is nowhere else we can fall. We all have to now rise up. And every leader out there in the community, every church leader, every councillor, every president, all of us have to now work together to make sure that the Taripori district, the Koroba Kopiogo district, and the Komagarima district, and Hela province in general becomes a peaceful province, a province which will have no gun at all, no guns at all into the future.
Stanley Ovett Jr., National EMTV News.
Morobe Governor Kelly Naru has urged customary landowners on the peripheries of urban development to get organized and register their land so that land management is easier. Naru was speaking after presenting 400,000 kina to the Satwak Resources Group from Kabum, whose land includes the headquarters of the Komba LLG. The payment is part of a total value of 1.1 million kina for the land on which the station sits.
At this gathering, the Satwak Resources Landowner Group received 400,000 kina from the provincial government. This is the second payment of a total of 1.1 million kina for the land on which the headquarters of the Komba LLG sits.
That we are taking the lead as a province in the country to basically drive the agenda of mobilizing and freeing up customary land. Part of that process is what we are witnessing today.
It's part of arrangements to expand and improve government services in this remote district. While land is abundant in some areas of Papua New Guinea, much of it is tied to customary land ownership, and disputes happen when there's no clear land ownership.
We entered into arrangement with the landowners to acquire the 12.9 acres at a cost of 1.193 million, 354,000 kina.
Governor Naru has been calling on customary landowners to get organized and register land on the peripheries so that the management is better. In other parts of Lae City, the scarcity of land is also driving investors outside of the city. The trend is expected to continue over the next 5 years. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Lae.
You're watching Friday's news. National Road Safety Council takes road safety message to Kimbe. That story and more when we come back. Welcome back. The National Road Safety Council conducted a road safety awareness campaign in Kimbe, West New Britain Province this week to educate road users on road safety rules and measures. This awareness was funded under the Asian Development Bank Bridge Replacement Program for rural access along the New Britain Highway. Kimbe Police Traffic, Department of Works, Motor Vehicle Insurance Limited and land transport officials were engaged in this awareness.
Many people turned up at Kimbe Town's Independence Park for the road safety awareness. This awareness program is part of the NRSE initiative to educate road users and pedestrians, drivers and passengers about road safety while committing the New Britain Highway, where ADB-funded projects of 2-lane bridges are underway.
The road car is a killing 10 man, 20 man, same time. Time car roll one time all passenger. Today all car blame me, only not safe. Next year, Bali walking one block rule or some tambul or sit down or open back car.
The 2-lane bridges will allow vehicles to travel at high speed, and this poses high accidental risk for road users along the New Britain Highway.
Expanding bridge go 2-lane, speed block car and by go naraplakai. First time also come slow down and by no add more. So you get sunnis long speed block car na man Mary behavior long this lahap and more important long you must look sabe this la you know this la that's all. But along all get up long highway, road safety may come up. One bla issue lo this la time you may stop long am.
In a collaborative effort, implementing agencies, the Kimbe Traffic Police, Department of Works, Motor Vehicle Insurance Limited, and Lands and Transport have been engaged in this awareness. MVIL OIC Dalchi Ragu urged vehicle owners operating without valid driver's licenses to register their vehicles for insurance purposes.
Vehicle owners, please make sure all car me, roadworthy. Usad you like drive to plan the time car accident now you may realize him or all paper block car time. OIC traffic police you check him now and find out also expire. That's all you driver when you sit down backside the car you make sure that I'm insured so that time man collab. Me black and pay him this compensation long him. Time you book him slab birwa.
Road users have been encouraged to follow traffic rules and maintain safety conduct at all times when using the road to avoid accidents.
Safety and big plus only. Look sign na you behind him by life blue and stop long time. Time you may get recognize him. This law signs. The very important message is that you may get us look out him this la life blue me look sign na you behind him by life blue and stop long time.
Na road safety blow me plata sol, work blow me plan. And work blow me all of you must take him ownership long. Road safety, now you may take him ownership law and order, so that all societies blow me, by you may stop good. Road blow me, by you may use him, and safe road blow you use him.
Eric Arupma, National EMTV News.
On a related note, West New Britain Province has recorded no road accidents for the past 4 months, according to Kimbe Police Traffic Officer in Charge, Senior Sergeant Kevin Tirupia. This comes after traffic police have been dealing diligently with traffic incidences of unregistered vehicles, bald tires, overloading and speeding.
Kimbe Police Traffic Officer in Charge, Kevin Tirupia, said for the last 4 months there have been no reports of car accidents in Kimbe Town. The only accident happened in Biala, where an overturning vehicle killed 3 people and injuring others. He said this is because many drivers fail to follow traffic rules and road safety standards.
Mi play vokat lo save him life blue. Ma save him life lo pikin ni blue. Save him life lo barata blue. You me walk lo golong at Christmas now. For the last 4 months, me play make him 174 arrest. Me play give walk him 208 bookings belong national government, 250 belong provincial government. Which are living long down in accident. Na miya masol sem. Inside Lokimbe town, the road inside Loia. You know got fatal accident he came up long November.
Kimbe MVIL OIC Dalsi Ragu said these accidents have been caused by unregistered or unroadworthy vehicles. This is something the implementing agencies were tasked to fixing it. Many times accidents occur because drivers drink and drive and go over speed limits. The other thing is that unqualified drivers obtain licenses through backdoor dealings. Kimbe Traffic Police have been dealing diligently with this by making arrests and charging law breakers.
Milukimos en planti kari kosim accident na planti driver oli drink spark oli kosim planti accident. So lo sambla saitu milukimos en los side lo bribery lo license. So this last sa kosim planti accident. Na sambla moli walking bribery only no clear lo traffic rule. Blo avoiding accident.
So lo look me look also my government me got big work now along a Streatham road. Na making by at least road big play enough long plenty car you can run so that you may not can experience all accident come up long road. Two lo display all man mary especially all drivers driving me play go come long road. And me at me looking also by me must stop lo passing lo drink na drive.
Eric Arupma, National EMTV News.
The Road Traffic Authority says the number of accidents during the Christmas and New Year periods escalate to alarming figures. Together with police, the Road Traffic Authority is working at strategies to monitor traffic during the festive season. Manpower is also an issue. However, NCD Traffic Police will still carry out their duties during these periods. Drivers and commuters have been advised to be cautious at all times.
2,500 road accident cases have been reported this year. Much of these accidents are a result of drunk driving and usage of unregistered vehicles.
When they are driving, they have to, be concentrating their driving because the road is not like a highway where you can do carry out other like talking to a mobile phone or speeding and all this stuff. That will not happen in the city because there's a lot of vehicles ahead or even at the back of you. So we have to take the responsibility.
Terema also says traffic monitoring strategies will be carried out to avoid the accident figure from increasing during the festive season. Manpower is an issue in the NCD Traffic Police Division.
We have 4 shifts, which they work 8 hours interval. We change shift every 8 hours. So a man consists of, say, 3. We have 3 members for a shift because we have not enough manpower now. So, but in NCD itself, we work 24 hours. So during previous years and this year, there won't be any difference. We're going to still maintain our duty as traffic officers to ensure that it's run properly, smooth, and then get into New Year.
The emergency ward at Port Moresby General Hospital had many accident cases during the past festive seasons. However, this year the hospital saw over 200 victims of fatal road accidents. Commuters and drivers are advised to be cautious during the festive season because road and life safety is not a game. Police will be conducting roadblocks to minimize road accidents during the festive season. Gaile Kivali, National EMTV News.
This Christmas will be a little brighter for shareholders of Trans Wonderland Limited. Despite tough economic conditions, Landowner consortium Trans Wonderland Limited has announced a profit of just over 4 million kina for the financial year 2015. This has translated into a dividend payment of more than 800,000 kina for its shareholders, landowners along the PNG LNG corridor. According to TWL Managing Director Larry Andagali, with a decline in business activities following the completion of construction of the PNG LNG project, the company had undergone a cost-cutting exercise to remain competitive. This has resulted in positive results, with TWL being granted extensions to its contracts with ExxonMobil and Oil Search for services within the logistics realm. He is, however, cautious of the results for 2016, particularly given the continuous downturn in the overall economy. And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at 0.3150 US dollars in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying 0.3075 US dollars, 0.4154 Australian dollars, 0.2926 euro and 36.07 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold and copper are closed higher, while coffee and cocoa closed the day lower. Palm oil, crude oil and copper closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 59.71 points higher, the ASX is trading at 5.68 points lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 5.29 points lower. National EMTV News continues with overseas news next. Philippines drug war continues. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. During the final year parade at Mari Barracks, PNGDF Commander Brigadier General Gilbert Toropo announced that the force has reached its immediate goal of filling the gaps and reaching the force's strength up to 5,000 men this year. He also acknowledged the support that has enabled the force to reach many of its achievements.
The increasing of manpower is one of the main objectives stated under the 2013 White Paper Plan. PNGDF Commander Brigadier General Gilbert Toropo confirmed that the immediate goal of increasing manpower up to 5,000 by 2017 was reached this year.
So despite the limitations upon the successful outcomes to see officer cadets continue to graduate and recruits pass out is a positive indication of our staff's commitment to see a brighter future, a professional and disciplined and fit organization for our country.
With that being reached, the long-term goal is to reach 10,000 by 2030. Increasing manpower also increases challenges PNGDF are facing in financing the training of the troops and development of facilities for the increasing number. However, with other countries assisting the force, these goals can be reached in time.
And I want to take this opportunity to thank our bilateral partners for their strong, enduring relationship based on our mutual support and assistance continues to develop as we make our way in the world.
The PNGDF commander has described 2016 as a successful year for the force. He says the force has seen an increase in bilateral relationships with Japan, Indonesia, and the United States. Gaile Kivali, National EMTV News.
More than 50 men and women graduated yesterday at Jiwaka Adult Literacy School. The school was founded by local businessman Andrew Kama to help reduce the illiteracy and innumeracy rate in the province. It also gives a second chance to school-age children who missed out on formal education because of various reasons.
Parents and even old people go to school at Jiwaka Adult Literacy. Classes offered are Talk Pidgin, English and Prep to grade 8. Yesterday, many mothers who were between the ages of 35 and 50 collected more prizes than men and children.
Now you think also you got big little lines for you long, you must read and write. I'm all this black in the schools and very important. I'm all provide them second opportunity for you.
Jiwaka adult literacy is structured into two groups. Group 1 are adults between the ages of 19 and above. They are the ones who do not know how to read and write and count big numbers. Group 2 are school-age children between the ages of 6 and 18 years old. These are the ones who missed out on formal education because of school fee problem, tribal fight and such, who are given the second chance to go to school. Those who do well in class were allowed to double grades. Starting next year, Jiwaka Education Board will allow their grade 8 students to sit for the national exam with other public-run schools.
All stakeholders, all public, all want good management law school. All teacher must have no time, money must have no program, all the resources must have. Now, anybody surround good action salary. This land sought law in the Nubla province.
The literacy rate of Jiwaka province is 16 out of the 23 provinces in the country. School founder Andrew Kama said he had no formal education, but he has money. He said he needed knowledge to run his business, and that was how he started the school.
One of them work the leader and we work business. One of the business of man work and we work business. But some of them go so no one. You not the man in the community. In Jala Jiwaka, you stop on. Now is a school me grab no. In Jiwaka, so school stop. All Moruba gam stop, all Tarigam school stop, all Agan gam, all Guna TV all coming jet. All the provincial flat coming jet. Now all will ring yet. Next step, I will pull up there because management is a school and stop good, all board stop good so. All the way.
A councillor, Rex Kune, who is also a student, was recently knighted as a member of the British Empire. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Jiwaka.
The Port Moresby Nature Park recently refurbished and reopened a parrot walk-through bird aviary that houses a number of parrot species that the public can get up close and personal with. The new bird aviary also aims to educate people on the dangers of the hunting of birds for traditional bilas.
The main theme of the exhibit is about showcasing PNG's unique parrot species and also to raising awareness on the delicate balance between bilis and wildlife protection. So WCF, the Wildlife Conservation Society that's based in Goroka, we've had a partnership with them. They've been doing a number of studies up there looking at traditional bilis usage and feathers and getting an understanding as to how many birds are actually hunted out there. So we do know the Pesquet parrot, which is our hero bird in the exhibit, is one of the most overhunted birds at the moment and is at threat to loss of numbers due to overhunting. So one of this exhibit aims to highlight is what you can do to look after your bilis, so how to protect your feathers, and if you store them correctly, each feather can live for an extra 4 to 5 years before you need to replace it, which means that every single person's headdress, that is the equivalent of one less bird being killed per year per headdress. So if we all look after our feathers, then that way we'll also look after our wildlife. And so that's part of what our exhibit is meaning to feature.
The annual Christmas lights have come out again for the people of Leh City to celebrate. The holiday spirit lighting in Leh has begun with eye-catching roundabout displays in the city. This has been the Christmas spirit that had attracted people from outside the city to enjoy. The annual Christmas night lights of the roundabouts in Leh create eye-catching views for the young and old. It has taken a lot of effort to set and power up most of the lights, tree ornaments and other decorations. For some, it may not be the Christmas they expect, but for others it will be a Merry Christmas. Turning overseas, a 6-year-old Manila boy was killed in his sleep among the latest victims in the ongoing violence against suspected drug criminals in the Philippines. This includes a pregnant mother of 5 at 29. CNN brings us this report.
She says her husband was an occasional drug user trying to get clean in what has become open season for anyone suspected of being tied to drugs. Married for 11 years, this mother of 5, now a widow at 29.
You have a baby on the way. How do you go forward now?
I have nothing to do, she says, but try to go on with life. One day after these murders, Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte revealed he personally killed drug suspects while serving as mayor of his hometown.
But in Davao, I used to do it personally, just to show to the guys that If I can do it, why can't you?
Nearly 6,000 people have died in the Philippines in less than 6 months. Police call more than half of those deaths vigilante-style killings. Many suspect police involvement, often little or no investigation. All of this openly encouraged by President Duterte. This woman too afraid to show her face. They're killing left and right, she says. Sometimes they kill 10 or 20 a day. I'm scared. These days, you don't know who's your enemy.
Public opinion polls show the majority of Filipinos support President Duterte's war on drugs. They say it makes their communities feel safer. But here in this neighborhood, we couldn't find a single person who says this number of killings is justified.
Even this woman who supports Duterte is afraid to speak openly. I hope that the government will give people a chance to change, she says, a chance for them to stop using illegal drugs.
No criminal.
Maria Musabia insists her son Domingo was not a thug or a dealer, but she admits his use of shabu, or meth, a $3 high, may have gotten him killed. Just outside, they play cards to raise $900 for the funeral, 3 times her late son's yearly earnings as a bicycle taxi driver. This is just one Filipino family out of thousands, and promises by their president of even more killing to come.
Chukai Sports is next. Don't go away.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. 6 more players have been released after week 2 of the SP Hunters preseason training in Port Moresby. Brandy Peter, John Stanley, Kingston Paul, Mark Pitti, Wesa Tenza and Wesley Valley were released after failing to pass fitness tests.
Unfortunately, the 6 players did not meet the required level of fitness and were released. They will have to go back to their Intercity Cup teams and work a little bit harder to force their way back into the Hunters. Maroon will take 40 players to Goroka tomorrow for the final week of preseason training. Training won't get any easier when in Goroka. They will be camping at the National Sports Institute and will be more intense in a colder climate. Coach Michael Marum said the younger players in the squad were pushing for sports in the final 30-man team to be named in the new year. The training ends next week Friday, then the players go for a break with their families and return to camp in Port Moresby on January 2nd, 2017. The final 30-man team to participate in the 2017 Interest Super Cup will be named shortly after. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Tarama Gave Raya 1 are the new champions of the Southern Region 9's tournament for the 2016 season after yesterday's grand final. The team went up against reigning champions Rova Nama to claim a victory by 2 points, 18-16. Godwin Eki reports.
From the first whistle, it was game on for the cup playoff between Gaviraya 1 and 7-time champions Rovanama as they locked horns in the first half of the competition. Proving too strong for each other, the underdogs Tarama Gaviraya 1 had the ball on their hands while managing to block their defense to score their first try but failed to convert. Still keeping the same pace from the start, Gaviraya 1 scored their second try, this time with conversion successful. With the clock winding down, Rovanama came in full force, scoring their first try in the half. While Gaviraya 1 tried to guard their territory, they were too weak to block the defense, giving an opportunity to Rovanama to score their second try with only seconds remaining before the halftime whistle went off, bringing the score to Rovanama 10, Gaviraya 1, 8. At second half, with 2 points difference on the scoreboard, Gaviraya 1 accelerated, scoring their third try, bringing the score to a 14-point lead. Rovanama changed their game tactics still in the second half after finding a gap to score. Gaviraya 1 still kept their energy to score their fourth try, bringing their score to 18 points. With time ticking towards the full time, Rovanama found a perfect opportunity to equalize their score but missed the opportunity after an unsuccessful conversion, leaving Gaviraya 1 to take lead as the winning champions of the Southern Region 9's tournament for 2016, taking home the cup. In the pennant final, SSG played against Mairo Koivo Karoro, with SSG winning the match with 14 points win. In the bowl final, Not Dingo took home the bowl with 10 points win over Widex 6. While in the plate final, Ipakeke Pelagai proved victorious with 10 points over Mogiana Blues, taking home the plate. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
Chukai Sports continues after these short messages. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sports. Former PNG Hunters co-captain Adam Korave led his team to victory in the Southern Nines Bowl playoff. Korave's North Dingo beat Widex 10 points to 6 at the National Football Stadium.
Korave's Hunters' experience proved worthy in the win as he ran rampage towards the opposition. His side showed class during the match with fast line breaks, tearing the defense. This would see them get their first try through a cutout pass towards the right wing. Dominating most of the attack, North Dingoes got their second. Both conversion attempts were unsuccessful. In the last few seconds of the match, Widex managed to get a try but fell short of time to fight back. Korave's experience was what got the team over the line. Though he may not be with the Hunters anymore after being omitted because of off-field issues, Korave's passion for the sport still remains as he tries to work his way up again to join the Hunters. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
The Huawei PS United Football Club is all pumped up for the 2017 National Soccer League season, which kicks off next month. In line with the club's plans to expand, recruitment for raw talent has been carried out on local competition platforms around the country. The 28-member team announced recently comprises mostly of players from the New Guinea Islands, Southern and the Momase region. With the launching last Saturday, the excitement of participating in this semi-professional competition has finally set in as they prepare for the 2017 season. Coach Anthony Pakakota during the announcement said they are aiming for a much improved performance in the NSL competition this year. And that ends Chukai Sports. We'll be back with the weather details after the break.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, showers in Port Moresby, isolated showers in Alotau, showers with thunderstorms in Daru and Kerema, and a shower or two in Popondetta. In the Momase region, showers and thunderstorms in all centers. In the New Guinea Islands region, showers and thunderstorms in all centers. And in the Highlands region, thundery showers in all centers.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Before we go, recapping our top stories for tonight. 3% pay increase approved for public servants. Government endorses strategy against gender-based violence. And former Guns Committee chairman critical of moratorium. And that's been the news, sports and weather for this Friday. From all of us here at the news team, Pleasant viewing. Good night.